What is up, guys? Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So a pretty solid day in the markets today with about 15 minutes left in the session. The S&P's up over 1%. We have the Dow Jones up 0.7%. The Nasdaq is up over 2.5%. And the Russell 2000 is up 2%. So I want to break down the technicals in this video, go over 7 stocks to buy now. And on top of that, I want to share with you guys stocks I own right now and where my head is at as a trader and as an investor. So hit the like button, subscribe, make sure to go down below, get 2 stocks from WeBull, $10 from M1 Finance. Those are free. And you could also check out the Patreon if you want to work with me more in depth throughout the trading day, one-on-one access if you want buy and sell alerts, call outs, morning update videos, and a bunch of exclusive content. That is on Patreon, linked right down below. So let's talk. And let me tell you guys, today was one heck of a day, and we still have about 13 minutes left to go to the closing bell. And the S&P 500, as you guys can see right here, hit an all-time high. All-time high was hit at 3960.27, and the previous high, if you guys recall, was hit back in the middle of February. Let me pull up. Actually, you could just see it right here. Take a look here on the 4-hour. That was back on the 16th of February to be exact, and that was at 3950. So we got 10 points higher from that high, hence we hit another all-time high, right? And we actually held, we were trying to at least, to hold 3950 as support. We pretty much held it for a lot of the day today from 11:30 a.m. up to about 2:30 p.m. So 3 hours there. We held about 2950. That was the old all-time high. So we held it as support, and obviously we failed. At that point, we're gapping under it now, trading at about 39.40. And like I mentioned on Patreon earlier, I made a little video on there. I mentioned if 39.50 were to break, S&P 500 is likely to go down to about 39.30. That's the next big target I'm looking at. And you guys can see on the 4-hour, 39.30 is a point of resistance from back in the end of February. So that's the next point I'm looking at as support. And if 39.30 breaks, we might be going 39.15, followed by anywhere from 3,900 to about 38.70. Those are some levels I'm watching on the downside for the S&P. And the way that things could play out here is, look, we could end up seeing this pull down to 39.30, and then we could rip right back up. That could be bought up, and it could go to a new all-time high. And who knows, we could go to 4,000, so that's kind of a more bullish target in the short term, 4,000. Then you could also argue, Stas, this has come up very quickly in just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading days. It's gone from 39.23 up to 39.60. It's gone up so much. That is about 6% in 5 days. So that's about 1.2% every single day it's gone up recently. So Stas, is it going to pull back? That's also possible. The RSI is a bit hot. It's at 62. Again, we just hit an all-time high, so we could go maybe a little bit up more, but then I think there's going to be a pullback probably to around mid 3800s, maybe low 3900s. That could happen. And you guys know, the markets are heavily tied to the bond market, especially these days. We saw the bond market creeping up these past couple of, 1-2 weeks, especially. It got to 1.6, the 10-year, and the market's tanked. And now the 10-year is sitting at 1.52. Earlier in the day, it was under 1.5, so it's come down a bit. And you could argue that's why the market is ripping back up, especially tech and especially a lot of these higher growth companies. So we'll see if this lasts. The 10-year, for all we know, could rip right back up to 1.6, and the markets could tank again. They could see a sell-off. We'll see how things go. But as of now, things are looking pretty dang bullish. And when it comes to the Nasdaq 100, guys, this one pretty much played out exactly as we've been talking about as of late. I mentioned earlier today on Patreon. I was like, look, 12,760, that's big, right? 12,760, that's big. 12,750, that general area, that was support from yesterday, right? We held that. Remember I was talking about that descending triangle on the Nasdaq 100? Well, it didn't play out. If it were to play out, we would have dumped under 12,750, right? But we ended up gapping out of it, which was very bullish. And I said, if that were to happen, look for a move to the low 13,000s, anywhere from 12.9 to 13,000. And on the higher end, I'm looking at 13.2 and 13,300, right around there. I think that is where we could be going. And you guys can see, I mean, indicated by this oval, that's kind of what I'm looking at. And if we break out of this downtrend, that is where momentum is fully going to shift, in my opinion, on the Nasdaq from being dominated by the bears the past couple of weeks to, okay, now the bulls are coming in and they could push this thing higher. So just because the S&P's up all-time highs, the downtrend is pretty much over for the S&P. It doesn't mean it's the same for the Nasdaq. In fact, the Nasdaq 100, as you guys can see, is still in a downtrend, and it's still down a little bit over 5% from its all-time high. So keep that in mind when you are analyzing the Nasdaq 100, the S&P. Understand that tech got hit harder, and you guys know that, and that's why the Nasdaq has gotten hit much harder than the S&P and the Dow Jones. And something worth mentioning, which is probably moving the markets today, and it's been moving the markets as of late, not only the yield is going down, we mentioned that already, but stimulus. Stimulus ended up getting signed in today by Biden. He ended up signing it in about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, maybe a little bit less than that. Doesn't matter. But all you got to know is that he signed it in today. And we'll see, you know, once these checks get given out in the next couple of weeks, you know, as they roll out, we might see more pumping in the markets, especially if people are loading up on stocks with these stimulus checks. I mean, we've seen this already over the past couple of months with all of these new investors, the influx of new people coming into the markets. Sure, a lot of them are coming in because, okay, they want to try the markets out with their own money, whatever, from savings, from work. But a lot of people are also getting the stimulus check, and they're like, screw it. I'm going to just try the markets out with this free money, essentially, that I just got. And free money in quotes, because nothing is free. You can't have a free lunch, but that's a whole different story. And they're getting this money from the stimulus, and they're just buying stocks. So I think that we could see a delayed rally in the markets because of that. And I mean, we're seeing a rally right now because of the passing of the bill as well, if that makes any sense. So yeah, watch out for these checks. I mean, in the next couple of weeks, this could have an effect on the markets, no doubt about it. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think? Make sure to hit that like button if you all are enjoying the video so far. And let's get right into stocks I own right now. We had Tesla, which is my biggest swing right now. Tesla is right at $700 as we speak. It's up 5%. And I'm almost on the green with this stock. You know, I've been buying it on the way down. My average cost is low 700s, right around, I think, 710. And it's right at 710 pretty much, a little bit under there. So I think the next gap up, well, obviously the next gap up is going to put me in profit when it comes to Tesla. And where could it be in terms of where it goes the next gap up? Probably around 740, probably around 745. That was resistance from back in the end of February. And if that breaks, hey, we could be going back to the low 800s, which is the next big gap to fill here on Tesla. And am I selling my shares? No, I'm actually looking to buy more. And I'm just being patient because if we end up dumping tomorrow, maybe next week, who knows? That could very well happen. I might be able to get Tesla in the mid, low 600s, or if it goes back to the high 500s, that would be a nice spot as well. But if it doesn't matter because I already have my position kind of where I like it. But again, I would always like to add more. And what I'm seeing here on Tesla now that I'm looking at it is maybe an inverse head and shoulder forming. It's kind of early. We have the left shoulder here, the head right here, and maybe if we get some right shoulder action and we end up curling back up to 740 and break out and maybe we get to 800. That'd be the completion of that right shoulder. But again, it's a bit too early. We have to wait there. Tattooed Chef is another one that I'm in. I actually ended up buying more of this one in my long-term account today. Added a little bit more. SLV is another one for some silver exposure. And I still have CHPT, which is ChargePoint. This went up another 6% today, cracked over 30 bucks, and the markets are about to close in 2 minutes. So it looks like ChargePoint is going to close above 30 bucks. So that's a good sign. And NEO did so well today. NEO up over 11%. $46. It looks like it's going to close over that price. And now we're getting to a pivotal point. You know, I mentioned a bunch of levels on NEO in the 40s. You know, a bunch of levels within the 40s were 42 that I was watching, 45, and now we're getting to the biggest level, which is 47. 47 was the high from back in the beginning of December. You know, that was resistance also back in the end of December. And it was also support couple weeks ago, end of February. So I think it's vital for NEO to break 47. If it does do that, I could see it move up to $50.50, which is another big resistance from late December. And then from there, we're probably going to get 53 followed by 55. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still in the mid 40s, but these are just levels I'm looking at in the future, of course. And if we fail at 47, this could very well dump off like but that would probably happen if the markets were to take another big downswing. If tech got slammed, that could happen, which I don't know. We'll see if that happens. I'm not sure if that will, but overall, I'm still in NEO and I'm still in Workhorse, which had a heck of a day today as well. And this is also kind of looking like an inverse head and shoulder now that I'm looking at it. If you look on this 4-hour chart, let me zoom in a bit here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Where is it going to go if the right shoulder completes? There's the bell. Where is it going to go if the right shoulder completes? Probably around $22, $23, and maybe even a 25 bucks. So that's what I'm holding right now. Nothing new to my swing account, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What are you holding? And don't forget to check out the Patreon link down below if you want real-time buy and sell alerts whenever I'm buying, selling a stock, morning update videos, call-outs throughout the day. Don't forget, that is linked right down below. So let's talk about some stocks here. Number one is Nano Dimension, NNDM, which went bananas today, up over 18%, up over $11 per share. It closed above $11 per share. It went up almost $2 per share on the day, and we got earnings from them. Their earnings came out, was it this morning? Yeah, it was this morning. I actually didn't look at them until later in the day when I was prepping this video. But either way, they reported earnings. Q4 EPS came in at negative 20 cents, and that is actually down from negative 1 cent a year ago. So EPS is down year over year, and revenue is also down a little bit. Revenue came in at 1.97 million. That's down from the 1.98 million year over year from last year. So you look at that and you're like, it's not that nice, but overall the stock is moving up because I believe they have a lot of liquidity, right? They're pretty much set for the next year. I mean, I don't know exactly how much they're set for in terms of how much longer they can operate here with this cash, but let's put it this way. They're fine in the short term. Get this, guys. The company ended the fourth quarter of 2020 with $670 million in cash and bank deposits, while total loss for the fourth quarter was $17 million. So they have $670 million cash and bank deposits, and they lost $17 million in the fourth quarter. So that is a good sign in terms of, okay, they are losing a lot of money. That's not great. But then again, this company is a baby, and it's growing, and it's going to lose money. And looking at that $670 million, you feel a little bit more comfortable that that's going to last them, right? If they're burning 17 mil a quarter. So, I mean, that's a decent sign there. And the CFO ended up saying, quote unquote, we ended 2020 with a strong balance sheet and $671 million in cash, like I just said. Thanks to the equity offerings we concluded during the year, and we have strengthened it even more to a balance of nearly, get this, guys, this is probably another reason why the stock's running. They had 670 million at the end of 2020, and guess what? They strengthened it even more to a balance of nearly $1.5 billion at the end of February 2021. So they upped that by almost 3x. We'll call it 2x. 670 times 2 is roughly, give or take, 1.5 billion. So they doubled that up. So that's a good sign. And when it comes to the technicals here on NNDM, take a look. We're seeing yet again another inverse head and shoulder. I'm spotting these a lot today. Literally, I've seen so many charts today that have an inverse head and shoulder. It's probably because a lot of the tech-oriented plays, not all of them, but a lot of them do kind of move similarly. You can see here the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and I believe I mentioned this in the Patreon video earlier. It was trading in the mid-10s. It's gone up even more from that video, which is nuts. And I feel like we could see a pullback. We might, in fact, we might see a pullback, right? RSI is a bit overbought. If we get down to the mid-10s, low 10s, that could be a decent dip in this overall right shoulder. And just because a stock pulls down within the right shoulder of an inverse head and shoulder pattern doesn't mean the pattern is invalid. You know, it could be a decent entry actually to get in if we hold 10, 1025, 1050, and ultimately the right shoulder could get us up to the mid 13s, maybe low 13s. That's my target here in the short term. So that is NNDM. So the next stock I'm watching had a pretty good day as well, is Lemonade, ticker symbol LMND. This stock went up over 12.5% today, and one of the key time frames I'm looking at for this one is the 4-hour chart, particularly this downtrend. The pattern I'm looking at is this downtrending channel, which during the sell-off we saw the past couple of days, Lemonade got hit, and rightfully so. I mean, it went down, and it's been getting hit even before that. So that's why it really didn't go down a lot compared to, I mean, it still went down 20%, never mind. But it didn't go down a lot compared to some other stocks because it already was going down, but still, it went down 20% in the past couple of days. That's still pretty bad. And now it's recovered a lot of that gain, if not all of that gain. I'm actually looking to see if it gets back into this downwards channel. And if I extend this to the right, you'll be able to see this, right? And we're right by the 50 SMA on this 4-hour chart, which is pretty big, guys, for direction. And if we break this point and we get back into the resistance or into this channel, the downwards channel, I see upside for Lemonade from 110. 110 is the key spot, so I'm going to set an alert there. And if 110 breaks, I believe we could see some headwind up to 115, 120, maybe even close to $130, putting us right around the resistance of this channel and right around the 180 simple moving average here on the 4-hour chart. So Lemonade is very beaten down compared to a lot of stocks, although it has gone up a ton still, guys, in the past 4 months. It's still up from $44 to $100. That's still great performance, but recently it's beaten down from almost $190 to $105. So yeah, watch out for 110. If that breaks, I think there is some upside here for Lemonade. CIIC is another one that's been clobbered recently. And now it's been seeing a resurgence. It hit $18. Now it's trading in the mid-23s. And you could argue that the move has been missed. And I probably would agree with you there to a certain extent. But I think there's breakout potential if 25 to 26 could break, right around the 180 SMA here, 4-hour, and right around the resistance of this wedge, or it kind of looks like a descending triangle now that I'm looking at it. So if we break 25, guys, I think CIC could see an explosion. Does it go back to the highs of 37? Maybe. It's arguable, but I could see it go at least to 28, 29, maybe low 30s. You know, that is where I could see it going. So I'm watching CIC closely here, and it very well could get rejected and go back to, you know, $19, $20. That could easily happen. That could just as easily happen, right? So CIC is worth watching. DocuSign is another one. Let's see if they ended up reporting earnings. I actually didn't look, and we're probably, we'll see. DocuSign DocuSign, DOCU. Let's take a look at what the stock is doing. And nope, it doesn't look like they reported earnings yet. Or actually, no, they just did about 3 minutes ago. So they did EPS of 37 cents versus 22 cents. Okay, they beat that by a wide margin. And sales also beat, 430.9 million versus 407.6 million estimated. So double beat there for DocuSign. And let's take a look at the guidance here. They see Q1 sales of 432 to 436 million versus 419 million estimated. So they beat that Q1 sales guidance, and they see full year. Holy crap, guys, that is crazy. They see full year 2021 sales of 1.96 billion to 1.97 billion versus the 1.43 billion estimated. What? That's a ridiculous beat on guidance. Why is this stock not moving? What the heck? Why is this stock not moving, guys? Let me know in the comments if there's something I'm missing here. I mean, it did spike to 230. Now it's back down to about 220. Why is this stock not moving on that guidance? I mean, that is crazy. Overall, it looks like the market might have this thing wrong, and we'll see, guys. We'll see. But overall, I mean, I'm looking at 220. I mentioned this on Patreon this morning. 220 is a very key level of resistance. That was support from back in December, back in January. So I'm thinking if 220 could break, 250 is coming. 245 at least, 250, 255 on the higher end. So DocuSign, there we go. It's popping right now. It's going to 224. Wow, look at this volatility, guys. I feel like this is going to rip. I mean, there's no way. There's no way on that guidance it does not rip. But then again, the market, the stock market does some weird things sometimes. You know, just because a company reports strong earnings doesn't necessarily mean the stock is going to go up. We'll see, guys. We'll see what this is looking like tomorrow. So yeah, watch out for 220 as support and about 250 to 255 as resistance, where we currently are trading right now. And another stock which I've been talking about a bunch is Costco, ticker symbol COST. This one did not do nearly as well as all of the plays that we've mentioned so far today, but it still did very well, up 1.5%. It broke the 50 SMA, which is a key reason why I want to talk about it today. It broke this 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. We gapped above it today, meaning we're continuing the little uptrend we've been in the past couple of days. That is a very good sign. You guys can see that there on the 5-day 5-minute. And coming back here on the 4-hour chart, the fact that we broke this 50 SMA, I could see upside now, maybe to 340, maybe to 345. That is where we're going. And look, I mean, I'm looking at this more as a long-term investment. I really like it for dividend growth, for overall just growth in general. I mean, I mentioned this yesterday. This stock, this company is growing more than you guys would imagine. You would think Costco, there's no growth there. There's actually growth. The dividend growth is good too, and is currently paying a little bit under 1% of a dividend. So I think there's potential as a long-term play here and as a swing trade. And the 4-hour chart does not do it justice. The 4-hour chart does not look too attractive, but if you pull back to the 3-year chart, now we're talking. You guys can see the uptrend is holding overall on the 3-year chart. We held 310 at a higher low. You're seeing this green candlestick form. I think this could be an opportunity. So that's Costco. Facebook is another one that ended up ripping today, up 3.4%. We ended up gapping out of this wedge that you guys can see on the 4-hour chart. That is a good sign. I've been watching this for months, guys. Watching this wedge has been like watching paint freaking dry. I'm not kidding. This has been boring, but we're finally picking direction, and we've been faked out before. You know, you could have saw this breakout back in the end of January. It went from 275 to 286. You could have been like, okay, that's the breakout, but nope, you were wrong. It ended up going back down, and we saw previous fake outs like that. So this very well could be another another fake out, so I'm not rushing into Facebook yet. I'm watching it closely, and if I redraw this, I mean, you could argue it's not even out of the downtrend yet. So, 275, 280 is what we have to be watching here on Facebook to break, and then maybe we make our move to 300. That could be a move here on Facebook. And Snapchat is another one I like here, ticker symbol SNAP. This one up over 8% today, closed a little bit under $60 per share. And based on the price action, this is looking bullish. I mean, look, we held the uptrend. We held a higher low in the past couple of days at $53. We broke out of $57.50, which was huge considering that was resistance back in the middle of January. So we broke $57.50. Now we pretty much filled the gap up to about $59.50, $60, which was resistance in the beginning of February, and it was support pretty much all of February, and then we broke 60 and it became resistance, right? So this is looking bullish. Pretty much all that's in our way right now when it comes to Snapchat is $60, $60.50, and this 50 SMA. I really think if Snapchat could get above, let's say $61, and I'm going to set an alert probably at 60, let's put it at 60.50 so we could catch it early. I really think if we break out of these levels, right, I could see Snapchat go $65. That's the next price target. And then after $65, I'm thinking 68 to about 70, right? That's on the higher end. And of course, there's always potential it goes to all-time highs, but I'm not really banking on getting that entire move. Like I always say, guys, I'm looking to get my piece of the pie. And for me, anywhere from $60 to 65, I'm happy with getting just that move. And sure, if it goes up more, that's great. That's great. So overall, that's it for this video. If you all enjoyed it, hit the like button. Run that like button up. Let's try to get at least 300 likes. I challenge you guys. Make sure to also join the Strive Smart Discord chat, the Facebook group, and also don't forget to get 2 stocks from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is deposit $100, and you get 2 stocks valued up to $1,600. And once you get those, shoot me a comment down below what stocks you ended up getting. And don't forget to also check out my Patreon for real-time buy and sell alerts, call outs, morning update videos. If you guys want more access to me one-on-one throughout the day, that's on Patreon, linked right down below. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching as always. Keep crushing the market. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace out.